Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
of Live,
Let,
Thrive. You always say an exciting episode, and I think this podcast is the only exciting podcast that talks about short-term rentals. So it is an exciting episode. I don't know, there's some good ones out there. Our buddies, from our network are great at it, but we are fucking exciting. And glad to be back, Myka, man. How you been, Myka, man?
Man, I am good. It's been a long, fun day, but man, how you been?
Like I say, it's always becoming a millionaire ain't easy. No one ever says that. They just show you the things, and people look the Instagrams and stuff, and this shit ain't easy, bro. If it was easy, everybody would be millionaires, right? And with six-pack abs. It ain't easy, dude.
It ain't.
Yeah. There's days when you question everything. There's days when you're just like, what the fuck am I doing? Anyways,
dude, I had one of them days, man. But those are, you know what? I'm going to share a little bit of mine. So when we get into this, I'm going to share a little bit of mine. Because, I mean, people need to know, hey, you have to have stress management, all that shit when this is going on. So, yeah, you're right, man.
First of all, salute. It's Friday episode. We're going to have some drinks. Tink.
Salute.
Some salute. Have a drink. Yeah, you gotta drink now. That's the rule.
Yeah, my tequila ain't opening. I might have to go get my vodka.
Those are Friday up. We're gonna have some drinks and have some fun. Yeah. You have to catch up, man. Just smash it on the counter and then it'll pour out.
I know what to do.
Did it pour? Okay, here we go.
It's about to. I had to learn this when I was down in Mexico. I'm like, man, they just can't make this shit regular.
I know, it's stupid.
But go ahead.
So this is now we're finally setting up. This is episode 221 of your favorite Airbnb, VRBO, booking.com, short-term, long-term, mid-term rental podcast in the world. There it is. Drink's already hitting me, and we're coming at you from Arlington and Fort Worth, Texas, and we're gonna talk some shop, man. We're gonna talk heavy on the short-term rentals as we always do, and heavy on the business. Once you get a few of these, it's a business. It's a full-fledged business. So heavy on that. We're gonna have some fun today. It's just a me and Myka ep by popular demand, an S&M episode, if you will. And so we're gonna have some fun, talk some shop, and have some drinks. That's what's coming up.
Yes, sir, man. So how's business been on your end, Stevie Stacks?
Hectic, bro. Hectic. We're gonna talk some stuff today. We're talking about growth. I mean, that's growing pains, right? That's a real deal. Growing pains. When you grow from a baby to an adult, there's some growing pains involved. When you grow your business from a baby to an adult business, not the adult business, but you're gonna have some growing pains. And it's every time you hit like a milestone, right? When you hit that 10 unit mark, your business totally changed. It's different than having one unit. Yeah. Hit that 20 unit, hit that 30 unit, 40 unit, whatever it is, those milestones, it's a completely different business. And you gotta change and adapt accordingly, right? And that's the hard part. That's the because what got you to that level ain't gonna get you to the next level.
Facts. That's a fact, man. Every level, man. It's a mindset thing. You got to be growing mentally, spiritually, all of that at the same time, man. That's a fact, man.
Yeah, man. So I actually hit up a few podcasts ago. We interviewed Myka Dinman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mike Dinman. Yeah. Sorry, Mike. I just slipped my mind. And we talked to him today. That dude's awesome. Go watch that episode. He talks about running ads for your short-term rentals, and it's he's so passionate about it, dude. He just gets you excited, and he loves that crap. It's looking at behind the curtain of how Facebook ads works, and it's all, to me, it's like, it's just overwhelming. To him, it's just, you can do this, you can pull this lever. It's like, and then you can find out, which picture works the best, and you can change it up and put the different emojis and different words. It's like, oh shit, man, it's so much. But he's been doing it for 10 years. So he knows, but he's excited about it. And I talked to him about, possibly doing some ads, for our company, and not just to get our units filled, but to to find more clients, for Argus rentals. So there's outreach to, say how do we go about saying, we're the best management company in the area. And that was another thing too. I think this will make you happy because focus is a big thing, right? Otherwise you're just running around, you have no direction, no whatever. And I had an epiphany. You got me talking, man. I'm drinking, I'm talking. But I had epiphany the other day. It was like yesterday, I believe. And I told Federico, I was like, dude, there's so many new management companies, a brand new crop every single day. All these gurus are teaching people how to become a management company and go out there and find clients and all this stuff. So my thing was, dude, there's thousands of these fuckers. And nothing wrong with it. Hey, you're getting out there. We're helping teaching people, running their short-term rental businesses. And so, but why, as it gets to the point, especially with oversaturation right now, it gets to some more statistics with that Mike shared with us too. Pretty mind-blowing. With oversaturation saturation happening in general, and then more people out there looking for clients to manage their Airbnbs or short-term rentals or whatever you call them. And so here's the thing. If we're just another one out there advertising, trying to pick up clients, right? Trying to pick up people that have short-term rentals and want someone else to manage them, we're competing against not only the little guys and the medium guys, the big guys. We're Vicasas, we're competing against them. We're competing against the middle guys that have about 50 units like us, and then we're competing against the guys that just started, and they're going out there and saying, hey, they charge 20%, I can do it for 15, or I can do it for 12, or I can do it for 10. It's like, so we're competing against everybody. So it's like, and I think you said it on the cast before, but like if you're targeting to everybody, you're targeting to nobody. Or if your clientele is, if in your eyes is everybody, then your clientele is nobody. You kind of got to narrow it down, right? Mm-hmm. And I told Federico, what's wrong with there's plenty of business here, Dallas, Fort Worth, mid cities, Metroplex, right? We're here, and people are expanding here, people are coming here, people are moving here. So why don't we just become the best in this area? And that's what we advertise as, right? And that would our focus will be that. We'll know all the little cities around here that allows Airbnbs, that are short-term rentals, and has all the, we know all the zoning, we know all the, get all the facts. We have everything. So someone that's going to set up shop here, they're going to be more comfortable hiring us since we are here. We have the boots on the ground. We have the systems. We have the teams in the place. We got the handyman here, instead of hiring Vicasa to manage from like 1,000 miles away. Why would they choose us, right? I mean, I would choose a company that's there that can go actually look at my place if it's an emergency going on and stuff like that. So I told him that's what I wanted to do. I told Mike that, and he's so excited. He's like, dude, when he started his ad, his advertising, Facebook ads, whatever, and Google ads, all that stuff, and he just started as, hey, let me just make ads for your business, right? For any business. He wasn't getting no traction, not many responses. But when he narrowed it down, I'm going to make ads for your short-term rental to get your short-term rentals booked. And that's when he exploded, right? And he made his book. And then he focused on one thing, and then it just blew up, So there's power in just focusing on one thing and then being the best at that, right?
That's definitely the Michael Malkovich. I hope I said his last name, Malkovich way. I think I learned that in the book, The Pumpkin Plan, man. Cater to who you need to cater to. I love that. And they're going to choose you because of you, right? And this kind of goes back into, I know a while ago, remember a few years back, and even lately, not lately, but kind of in earlier episodes, remember I said I took my face off my short Airbnb profile? Mm-hmm. But really what I noticed is when I took my face off, I started getting people who weren't comfortable with my style of hosting. Now that I put it back on, I get better reviews. Because people are attracted to, I think Steve said it all the time, people are attracted to what they're comfortable with, things that look like them. Now I get that type of clientele. I'm like, oh, it's easier to host you. There's not a cultural barrier, right?
Right.
You know everything about Dallas. You know everything about Fort Worth. So when people come to you and you put your face on it, I was going to tell you, on your ads, I would suggest you and Federico put your face on it. And this is one thing I would really, really advertise, is you guys are fluent in Espanol. That right there, you target to that.
Wow.
you'll take off, man. A great book you guys want to realize about like catering to certain people. I believe it. Yeah, the Pumpkin Plan, man. That book right there. He really narrows down. Like he's helped people start multi-million-dollar companies by helping them niche down to who they want to target to, and their businesses just took off. So yeah, that's really huge, man.
So how are you doing that in your own business, niching down?
I'm really just trying to find the clientele. Like right now, I'm actually trying to get into military contracts. So I'm talking to a good friend of the show. I'm trying to niche down to like military contracts and get into that market.
That Noble?
Yeah. Because I'm trying to get away from my whole goal. Like you guys know, I'm trying to get away from Airbnb. It's because, I mean, you can't set up your listing on Airbnb to attract a target clientele, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to niche down to like, hey, we need military housing. Let's call Myka. Like how Steve says, we need property management. Let's call Argist. That's what I want to niche down to do that. And then also on my website too, I'm real big on, hey, business travelers. This is who we cater to. By the way, I got all my listings copyrighted. That's really huge. If you get them copyrighted by like a professional editor, and he like really broke down like, hey, put this in your listing, put this in your host profile. And he broke it down like to the science. And I updated like all my listings with what he was doing, man. This dude's badass, man. I got to start getting like a bunch of different type of Airbnb reservations based off this and just saying who me and Mahogany are, how we started our company, what we like to do. Hey, by the way, I host a podcast. It was crazy how he said, yeah, just put yourself on there and people will come to you because they're attracted to you. So that's been one way as well. Yeah.
Powerful. You're not a businessman. You're a business man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But other than that, man, yeah, it's just a lot of things that you can do in your business. Because right now, man, their business has been paying that ass, So I took a big loss this month because I gave all my listings. I don't want to rag on this company, but I gave my listings to Landing, right? So people, Hello Landing is a really cool place to list, but I don't want to rag on them. But I'm just saying, like, I gave my listings to them. I gave like 10 of them to them, right? And they were like, I interviewed them beforehand. I'm like, okay, like you guys have the clientele to fill them. They're like, yeah, of course. I'm like, well, what about a vacancy? How long is your usual vacancy? They're like 6 days. I'm like, 6 days and you'll hook me up with a 30+ day. I'm like, I can take that. You know what I'm saying? Or, because they're really strict about only list on Landing. So I said, cool, I'll give you them 10 units. So first week, man, they give us like $5,000 reservation on like a 2-bedroom in Dallas. I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool. So after that, nothing. And I had places like sitting empty for like 2 weeks. I'm like, and so I had to tell them back, hey man, we can't just sit here. And they were like, well, we understand. So I talked to another friend who was with Landing, and they're like, yeah, you got to kind of look at it like this. They're not really looking to fill units right now because they're prepping, from what I heard, they're prepping to sell the company. That's why you've been seeing their ads everywhere. So they just want to show that they have inventory. So yeah, and then you like think you're stressed about it. I'm like, fuck it, I gotta take the L and keep on pushing.
So goodbye, Landing.
Yeah. For sure, man. For sure. But yeah,
they got great commercials though. I like their commercials on Facebook and Instagram, and that's the thing, man. It's setting up your business, having that focus, right? And that's and you might not even, and the thing is, a lot of our listeners, I mean, they might not even have their business, all the way set up yet. They're learning this. A lot of people that listen to us are newbies, right? Or they only have a couple units, but and you might try a bunch of things at first, right? You might try, short term, midterm, long term. You might try it all, Airbnb, booking, whatever. But I mean, as soon as you find that you're really good at one thing, booking.com, people dog on booking.com all the time, right? But our friends, Kim and Ann from back in the day, they can't, our 2-show guests, they need to come back on, man. We hadn't heard from them in a while. But
yeah, they're killing it.
They found their niche. First, they found the niche because everybody hates booking.com, but they're killing it on booking.com, right? They figured out how to make money on that place, and it was pulling in most of their money, which is weird. Every now and then we get a booking from booking.com, and it's some dude showing up at 3 a.m. and and there's already guests at the place. It's the weirdest shit to us, but they figured it out and they made a crap ton of money off booking.com. And now their thing is salon studios. Just arbitrage in salon studios and making fucking thousands of bucks a month just renting.
Thousands? What?
Yeah.
No, they make it more than that. I toured one of them in Miami. They took me on a tour of it in Miami. If somebody was to get interviewed, if you interviewed Kim and Ann, like a person off the street who was doing Airbnb, and you really were just doing it to test it out, you would hop into those salon suites so quick. Like I would say, it's 40 to 50,000 plus a month on one.
Shit. And they're arbitraging them.
Yeah, they're arbitraging on 10-year leases.
So they're renting these leases. Yeah, and then they go inside and they make them freaking amazing, right? With everybody dividers and everybody has their own little spot, and then they rent out the spots to other people. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And people ain't staying there overnight. Like our guests, we ain't staying over there overnight. Fucking having a toilet go out all over some stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. It's just straight money maker. She does have to put up with some of the female drama that goes along with running a hair salon. That she said that on the show. Yeah. But anyways, they found their niche and that's what they do. So I'm saying, try everything at first on your business, but find whatever you really that excites you about it, and then just hone in on that, right?
Right.
And so there's a million ways to skin a cat, but find the best way to do it. Another thing So with me, I like our business is doing good, even though, as I said, it was growing pains every phase. We're trying to hop to the next phase, and it's getting our VAs in place to make that leap with us it's hard to get them, trained, and it's hard to get them because there's so much going on now, right? To know everything. And so we're at the hiring, we're really, really at the hiring phase. We're trying to get the perfect employees to grow with us, and that's been a real challenge. Even the biggest companies in the world have a challenge, hiring the right people and maintaining the right and keeping the right people, right? Yeah. And so we're at that phase. Our business has made it possible for me to not work as much, right?
Congrats.
I'm not ready to. I could quit. I could, and the business would support me. Pay me. My payout would be enough. It's already more than what my job pays me, but I'm still hanging in there. I'm just making sure. It's I'm scared. It's a recession coming on, all that crap, But anyways, but luckily I have a flexible job. I can take off pretty much whenever I want, So I'm taking off Mondays and Fridays at my job. So I'm working only 3 days a week at my job. And so here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to ask you, because you've been doing this for a while. The time management side of it. And I noticed this with my partner, Federico, man. It seems like sometimes he gets burned out because there's no clock in at this hour, clock out at this hour for him, And I've been noticing that too, on my days off. I'm like, okay, I got this whole day now. I'm not at work. What do I do with my time? How do I manage it correctly to get the most, the most out of these hours? There's nothing, there's no, I'm a manager. No one tell me what to do. What do I work on? Or do I, and a lot of times it's easy to just get trapped into what the day-to-day and to just fall into the business. Oh, I just put out all these fires today, but really you've accomplished nothing, right? If you're just putting out fires all day, working in the business instead of on the business. And so I'm at that weird point. I don't know. I got to adapt to it because I'm going towards that because I'm working less at my job and working more at this. But it's just that weird, like, how do I manage my time the most efficiently? And I know you've been doing it for a while. So what advice do you have for someone that's escaping from the 9 to 5 and then that does make the escape, and how do they manage their time to get the most done in those hours?
Man, the universe works in mysterious ways, man. What this is what I tell you to do before you quit your job. What's your perfect day look like?
My perfect day?
What's your perfect day?
Play with my kids, hang out with the wife, and go have fun and just explore, do things like that. That's my perfect day. Not work. I don't fucking work all day.
Well,
do that.
If your business supports it, unless you still need to grow it, do that. That's your perfect day.
Yeah, but you still got to work on your business.
You set up times to work. So this is what I wrote, right? And I kind of put mine as like, it still evolves around the business. So my perfect day, and I wrote this on October 26th of last year. So I was 7 days after quitting my job. I wrote down my perfect day. Like, how do I want my schedule to go? I said, I want to get up at 6 a.m., work out, get my kids to school at 7:30. It's funny. And I just found this note today. Shower at 9:30, start my workday at 10. And that's basically how my life works out right now. And then I take breaks, I take lunches, I do the same thing, take a break, take a lunch, go. Like when I worked at my 9 to 5, I used to go walk around the pond. I would walk around the pond like during my 15. I'd take like every 2 hours, I'd take like a 15-minute break and I'd walk around the pond. I do that now. Same thing. But you just have to time blocks, man. It comes down to time blocks. Time block what you want to do, how you want to do it. Like today, me and Mahogany have been out since 10 o'clock in the morning, door knocking, driving, cold calling, getting cussed out over the phone, but but that I love doing though. Like I actually like door knocking more than anything. But Mahogany's like the genius behind that shit. And what you're going to find is those skills you've had in your 9 to 5 are going to resonate over to your business. Like Mahogany's been knocking on doors for the last 7 years, checking on people's, going in, doing CPS work. And what she said was, she goes, man, this ain't even stressful to me. She said, I've been doing this the last 7 years. I can knock on the door, go inside a house. She said, I've been in all types of dirty houses and everything. But, so it's just matter of fact, man, just have that set up what you want to do, how you want to do it, how much time you want to spend with your kids. If you want to be done by 3 o'clock every day and go kick it with your kids, you can do it. Like me and Mahogany, once a week, we'll go have lunch with Malachi. We can do that. We have the freedom to do that. I think I don't think you're scared. I think you're more anxious about like your time. You don't have to be anxious about it. It happens to me though. Sometimes you'll just start working just to work. And I'm like, you'll be shocked. Hey, if you're done at 12, you're like, well, damn, what do I do? Man, take Lupita to lunch. I'll go have some fun. See, what's happening is I went through this too. Your brain has been trained to work 8 hours a day.
Since you're in kindergarten.
Yes. Your brain has been trained to work 8 hours a day, and we think that's the norm. And what we do is when you're getting ready to take the leap and jump off your 9 to 5, you assume that's the norm because you've been programmed. Basically, we've been programmed. I know one person that said it best about like reprogramming yourself is Malcolm X used to talk about it. He said, just take all the knowledge you've learned and just take it out of your brain and just re-educate yourself. That's what he said he did in prison. He just took every single book and just started re-educating himself. He said, I started like I just didn't know shit and just re-educate yourself about everything, Because it's the programming, man. It is.
Get reprogrammed.
Yeah, you got to reprogram. That's exactly what it is, man.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's good to know because, like you said, you feel that pressure. I got to work at least 8 hours today, right?
Yeah.
And then if you listen to all the IG gurus, you're like, no, you got to hustle. You got to work 20 hours in a day. You got to get out there and do it, man. What are you doing? You're slacking. You're a piece of shit slacker, And you hear that, you're like, man, I got to follow what these guys tell me to do. I got to work like ignore my family and work like nonstop,
I'm happy you brought that up. I deleted Instagram and Facebook from my phone just to do it for like a week because you do like, especially like on Instagram. It's just like, yeah, do this way. And I was like, let me delete this for a little while. So I said, I'm going to get back on after I close out my next deal. Then I'll hop back on because I'm making content while I'm doing all my deals and shit right now. So I'll come back on with some content after that. But yeah, you got to kind of back off that a little bit because it's programming. It's another program, it programs as well. So you listen to all this programming shit every day. You're like, let me back off this, But yeah,
the hustle culture.
Yeah, it ain't that healthy. You don't want to be, I grind this. I get up this morning grinding. And I was watching a Breakfast Club interview. I forgot the dude's name, but he's a real intelligent dude. He looks around and he sees like older couples. He goes, whenever he sees an older couple, he goes, the woman's walking around just fine, good health. He goes, dude, he's walking around, he's limping around. He goes, yeah, because he's been grinding his whole life. He goes, I don't want to grind. He goes, that means to destroy, to tear down. He goes, man, he goes, I grind, but shit, I rest just as hard. So, you got to have that mentality as well.
Yeah. You know what's inspiring, man? I see like people that kind of do their own thing, and don't Like for example, I don't know why I just thought of Pat McAfee. You heard of him?
The guy who started McAfee.
No, not that guy. So this is Pat McAfee. He was a punter for the Colts for a
Oh
few years.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then he went to Barstool Sports, whatever. And he was doing real good there. But he said, man, he's just naturally good at doing the podcast and doing media like that. And then he just said, I want to do my own thing and I have my own show. I don't want to be a part of you guys anymore or whatever. And he left like millions behind he believed in himself. He said, I'm gonna do my own thing. I want to have my own show. And anyways, he ended up, having a successful show. A few years later, I think it was one of those gambling sites, one of the big gambling sites. They hired him to. I mean, they kind of did a partnership deal with him for paying him $30 million a year to do his podcast.
Damn.
And so I think the whole deal was like 150 million, but he paid him 130 bucks or $30 million. This ex punter, he even left football early because he was still at the prime of his career, but he just had a passion for media and he knew he had something and he joined a good group, made good money, but he wanted his own thing. He just had a vision, right? He just knew he was going to be successful and he was able to leave. He just left a few million behind, but he made a lot more just believing in himself, And I like hearing stories like that. And he was even in the WWE when they came here to the Cowboys. What's it called? WrestleMania. He was in WrestleMania too because he was a longtime wrestling fan and he wrestled. And I don't know. It's just like you don't have to do what everybody expects you to do in life, right? I mean, he could have took the same. Oh, man, I can't leave this fucking. I'm making hundreds of thousands a year punting the football. I can't leave this, my family, this and that. He knew there was something bigger in store for him. So making $30 million a year, he's making more than most of the pros in professional football by being behind the microphone and not getting concussed in the head. So I don't know. It's just stories like that inspire me. People that just believe in themselves and put themselves out there, and they just know they're gonna succeed, and they freaking succeed, man.
That's a fact, man. You got to be willing to put it all on the line. If you want the life of your dreams, it's on the other side of fear, man. It's on the other side of fear.
Yeah, man, it is, and we'll talk some short-term rental stuff today. Well, I was gonna bring up, let me see. So, a lot of people are hopping out of short-term rentals, right? A lot of people. We're seeing these fire sales. You can get furniture cheap nowadays. If you're looking for furniture for your house, you're not even into short-term rentals. Just join some short-term rental, whatever the city you're in. Short-term rental St. Louis, short-term rental Dallas, short-term rental Houston, and people are selling furniture for pennies on the dollar.
I'll be doing that in 2 weeks in Houston. So, September 23rd and 24th, I'll be having a blowout sale in Houston. Furniture you want, hit me up, hit my DMs. Hopefully this podcast is out before then. So yeah.
And that's the thing. So, and it's so funny because you see him like $500 for everything. You got to come get it, blah, blah, blah. Hey, you're making something off of it. People are making something off it, at least not having to pay movers, $600, $700 to go move it, to put it in the storage you have to pay for and all this crap, at least, or come get what is it called? 1-800-JUNK or whatever. They made a good junk removal that costs money too. Hey, you might as well make a few bucks off it and have someone come take it all. But I saw this girl, I think it was Dallas, and she was selling a 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom for like $4,000 for the 1-bedroom, $5,000 for the stuff in the 2-bedroom. I was like, your ass gonna lie. People are jumping out, pay $500 for everything. Are you sure?
Hell yeah. People ain't about to spend that. You lost your mind,
man.
You go for like $1,200 a unit.
So this is the thing, and Federico gets frustrated, right? He's he's a passionate, Latino over there in Argentina, and that's just how he's wired, Federico. He just it just gets everything, he freaks out, and I'm like, dude, look at what we built so far, We've got like almost like 70 units, that we're managing. We've bought 2 properties since we've started this thing, from the business, and we have more clients coming in. We have interviews set up. We're gonna get more clients. I know the bookings are down. I know you want to make everybody happy all the time, and it's just perfect storm. It got saturated, and then now the down season's coming. Everybody killed it in June, July. August is a little slower, and the down season's coming. But look where we're at, man. We're at a good spot, and so don't freak out. look at all these other people that are leaving. Go look at the Facebook pages there. People are jumping out left and right, man. And so, like I told you earlier, it's not easy to become a millionaire. It's not easy, but as long as we stick to it and we keep going, this time will pass. This time will pass, and the ones that are going to be making money are the ones that hung in there because everybody else quit. And that's with everything, dude. That's with every fad that comes along. People jump in and this and that. Everybody's making good money. Then it gets a little challenging. Everybody freaking quits, right? I don't know how many people stay in it. Maybe 10%. Is that a high number? Is that a low number? I don't know. But the ones that do stay in it and they grow and they figure it out, I mean, they're way ahead of everybody that tries to get back into it. You know what I'm saying? And so I just tell them, don't get discouraged. This is part of it. Business ain't easy, man. And so as long as we stick to it, and there was, I mean, I don't know the exact percentage. They said like Warren Buffett, he made like over 95% of his wealth after the age of 50, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why is that? Why do you think that is? He already had a few hundred million, but compounding.
Straight up.
So it's time in the market is better than time. Time in the market is better than timing the market. You've ever heard of that?
I like that.
Yeah. So people always say, how many people you talk to say, oh man, I thought about real estate, but I'm gonna wait till the crash, oh, it's too late now. How the interest rates are up now, they always have an excuse, right? And they never get into it, or they do in the future when everything's great. And you already have what 10 houses under your belt by then, or 20 or 30, whatever. And you're way ahead of everybody just because you stuck to it and you didn't stop.
And I tell people this, dude. If you're waiting to buy real estate due to a downturn, how do you expect to find a good deal in a bad market when you can't find a good deal in a good market? What sense does that make? Like, I'm serious. What logical sense does that make? That makes no rational sense at all. So, like, okay, you're about to go buy real estate in a bad market and you don't even know how to analyze the deal. Okay, you're about to lose money. What you're about to go do.
To lose their asses.
You got to go get your reps in, man. You can't just be out there. I'm gonna go pick up real. How do you even know what a good deal is? And that's what I tell people. You have to, man, go all in. Don't be afraid. Don't listen to all this crap, this downtrodden crap that people have in their mind. Man, it's a way to make money. If you stick to it, and that's even with short-term rentals, man. The people that are hopping out are in it for a hobby. Those are the people that are going to hop out because they're in it for a hobby. The reason why a lot of these hobbyists are coming around is because people are creating these basically streamlined process. Hey, I'll give you this unit. I'm selling this unit for this much. Now they're just looking at the money part and they're losing on it. You know what I'm saying? Just because that's what they're in. I'm like, bro, anytime something is too easy and you don't have to figure it out, you're in for a short run because you ain't willing to stick to it. You ain't willing to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? That's why Kobe was like that with his teammates. You ain't willing to pull in the work. I ain't passing you the ball. You ain't been putting in the rep. I ain't passing you the ball. I was like a lot of people was like, oh, he's just egotistical. Why would he pass him the ball? Hey, working their asses off. So I mean, it's the truth, man.
One of my favorite Kobe moments was, I guess the sports media, whoever was saying that, oh, he's taking too many shots. He's taking too many shots in this playoff series, and he's being a ball hog. He's not being, he's being selfish, and they're gonna lose because of that. The next game, he took like 2 shots the whole game, and he just every time they threw in the ball, he passes someone else. He's like, and they lost. They got their asses whooped, right? And he's like, you see, motherfucker. That's why I'm taking the shots, because no one else can make a damn shot. And it was so cool, man. He just no, y'all do it. I'm the ball hog. Y'all, I do.
Yeah,
but that was one of my favorite Kobe stories, man.
I know, man. Yeah, you have to have that persistence about you, man. So, it is slow right now. It's back to school season. You know what I'm saying? Once you've been in this for a while, you know what every season is. It's okay. They're going back to school. So back to school season is going to get slow. Next month, it's going to pick, but this month, September is going to pick back up. If you're in the South, why? College football starts. Now you got college football bookings. You start noticing it every time. So then Right now, once the winter months come around, you need to start seeing if you can get your corporate people in for that winter slowdown. People start to kind of travel, but then it's going to pick back up come Thanksgiving in December. Then you go through the January phase. You just have to know it, man. Once you've been doing it, you'll know it. It's August, end of August. It's going to be kind of slow. People are going back to school in the South. And you have to know your market, right? You got to know your market. In the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, August is still booming because the summer's still there for them. The kids don't go back until September. Right now, September is going to get slow up there. Here, it's going to go fast. You just have to know your market, man. Just stick to it. You'll learn this shit. Stick to it.
It's funny you should mention West Coast, man. I sent y'all a story today, right? And I couldn't believe my eyes, man. And I guess I can believe it because I've seen what California's going through, right? And every time, I mean, it's such a tempting market, right? Oh, let's get some rentals in SoCal, man. Everybody loves to go visit SoCal. We get some rentals over there. But the article I read, go look it up, go Google this shit. That it's actually people they're gonna vote on this crap, right? That So there's the homeless crisis. There's a homeless crisis over there, right? And it's funny, they give them the most benefits than any other homeless in the country. So why do more homeless people keep going over there? I don't know. I don't understand. Whatever. Anyways, the latest thing that's going to be put up to vote is so hotels. This is how it works. If this thing passes, hotels are going to have to submit by 2 p.m. in the day what their capacity is, right? So if they have, I don't know, 20% unbooked rooms or 50% or whatever the hell, they have to submit that to the city by 2 p.m. And then and at that point, if they don't have rooms filled, then they have to take on homeless people to fill the rest of the rooms.
Crazy, man.
This is a serious thing that's going to vote. I'm like, you imagine that shit, man? I mean, people doing crack and meth and needles and right next to you. You just want to enjoy a nice little Disney vacation, right? And then but this is the real thing that's going down over there, man. This is the people oh my God, dude. I mean, how does something so ludicrous get to a vote? And they're saying, well, all these hotels have capacity, so they can just put all the homeless in these hotels and boom, problem solved. I'm like, oh man, so every time I get tempted of investing over there, I stop. No.
I ain't never touching. Oh man, I'll probably touch the Pacific Northwest, but not the West Coast, like not California ever. Oregon, Washington State, I might touch, but yeah, the rest of it, no, I'm good. Yeah,
you heard that because so what the guy that's presenting that's a vote, right? His argument is like, oh, when the pandemic hit. There was a program called something, I don't know if it was Turnkey. It was something Project Key or something like that, where they were housing a lot of homeless in motels and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Motels and smaller hotels. And they were paying, I guess the government was paying to put them in these rooms. And anyways, a buddy of mine who at my job, but he works with FEMA too, right? He was sent out there at that time, to help with the situation. COVID was going rampant. And they put him in one of those places that was part of that program. He said, man, there were drinking and drugs and bum fights and all kinds of. He's like, dude, where did you put me? He's like, well, they have to house the homeless because they had vacancies and this and that. It's part of the. I was like, dude, no, y'all got to put me somewhere else, man. I'm afraid I'm gonna get stabbed out here. But it looks good on paper, right? Oh, it's just house the homeless, and there's some empty spots. And then what happens if that trickles down to people that have a extra home over there, or they got an Airbnb? Oh, you got to take some homeless people, man. You got a room. I mean, I don't know. It's just mind-boggling. But anyways, if you want to invest in maybe the Pacific Northwest is better. Maybe they're not as bad.
No, that's pretty bad, especially if you go to Portland. But you got to know what areas. But yeah, Portland's just as bad. I mean, they're allowed to have heroin on you legally. Serious, man. You can smoke meth in the middle of the street, and you'll get pulled over for jaywalking while the dude next to you smoking meth. No bullshit. Just hey, it's what the city wants.
He probably pointed you out to the cop too. Hey man, that is jaywalking. Smoking meth.
Yeah, it depends on where you invest at, and that's a huge thing too. Like, where do you want to invest? Is it stable? Because I am. in the future, I do want to get into multifamily and the vacation rental market. I do, want to get into that. The only thing that I loved about the vacation rental market during the pandemic was, everyone's doing the remote travel. So vacation rental markets just spiked up through the roof. So that's one great thing about it. So yeah, but California, I ain't never, I'm good on that one, man.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful state too, man. I can't believe
Yeah,
that.
it is. I
Get the
love
wrong people in charge and then just anyways, love about them.
I have a question for you though, man, because our good friend Sean Rakizic made an awesome video.
Ooh.
An awesome video.
He's coming on our show coming up.
He is going to be on the show.
Prepare for that one.
We finally talked Sean into it. We had to go to his penthouse and everything. We finally talked him into it. But he made a really good video. If y'all haven't seen it, go check it out. He basically was saying, if you're a real estate investor, right? And he was talking about if you're a real estate investor, you're trying to get into Airbnb and you're trying to do it as a passive income stream, you're probably going to fail because rising interest rates, and then you're going to hire a property management company to run it for you. What are your thoughts on that video, Steven? I'll give you mine.
I hadn't seen it yet. I need to watch it. But
oh man, it was really good.
Is he dogging on property management?
No. He's not dogging on property management. He's just saying if you buy a house, right, and you're saying, hey, I want to, because right now he basically started this. It was based off a Bigger Pockets article. It was something that I seen Bigger Pockets do, and I was like, this ain't really what I would be suggesting. Basically, Bigger Pockets put out an article. They put out an article saying, hey, if you're, interest rates are rising, basically what they're saying. Interest rates are rising. So if you have a property, you can just buy it and put it on Airbnb. So the Bigger Pockets community, most of them in the Bigger Pockets community, except for like the vacation rental people and the short-term rental people, the people that actually do it, they'll go get a house, put it on Airbnb, but hire a co-host. That works great when your interest rate's 3%. But now that it's 8-9%, it's like, whoa, am I going to cash flow off that? You start diluting the market, shit that's happening in Houston that I had to break down. So he basically was saying, if your property management company is charging you 20% and you're coming in with a new house, you might be not making money. You know what I mean? It was a really good video about how, and it was really great because I 100% agree with it. I'm like, yeah, if you're coming in, and I said, that's why I kept telling people, knowing how to buy is very important right now. And also being strategic with your interest rate. I told people you can do a 5-year ARM, get the cheaper interest rate now. If interest rates do go up, you might want to go ahead and think about doing a refi though. But
Yeah.
It was a very good video.
I need to check it out. But no, he's right in that sense. You gotta look at all the fees because you're gonna pay 20%, 25% to a management company, right? And then as soon as you turn that house into a short-term rental, then you're gonna get hit with and you have to register it in whatever city you're in. Most likely, you have to register it in whatever city you're in. So that's about 6 or 7% is gonna go in taxes to the city, right? All of a sudden, you got to pay 6 or 7% to that, 7% to the state, for doing a hotel type deal. So that's 13%. So if you're paying 25% of your gross to a property management company plus 13% in taxes that wouldn't be there if it was just a regular long-term rental, right? That's 38% of your gross is going.
Let me clarify that. If you're using a good PMS, you can pass the taxes on to the guest, so it never hits you.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That is true.
So even if you're charging 20%, you can and I've seen property management, I ain't gonna say no names, but they're charging like 30+%. And I was like, fuck are y'all doing? But
okay,
I was like 30%, but shit. But yeah, it can rack up.
But either way, even if you have that pass through or whatever, still the gross of what you made, you got to minus 38% because it's all going to taxes and property management, right?
No, because the guest is paying it. So if you go in, if you're using Hostfully, the guest pays it. You just take it out and push it over.
Okay.
You're making.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So that might be a deterrent too. Someone's going to try to book your place and for $100 a night, and all of a ssudden, oh shit, I got to pay a 13% tax on that. And screw that, I'm gonna stay at a hotel. I don't know.
That's where direct bookings come into play. Because then you minus the host fee, right?
Yeah.
But funny. I just did It's funny. Me and my partner, I just did I can't say it on show, but anyways, I was doing my partner solid. So basically, we were testing VRBO's fees, and man, VRBO has some high ass fees, just like Airbnb does. If depending on the city. But yeah, if you look at like the fees, the host fees are pretty high. So
right.
Direct booking's huge.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's a lot of management, taxes, all that stuff. You gotta factor in when you're doing these. Whereas you run it just a regular long-term rental, you don't have to worry about any of those taxes, right?
Correct.
Or having a property management company. You can have a management company, but the regular ones that do long-term, it's about 10%.
I have a question to present to you because you have a property management company. Do you think someone hopping into the space right now with no knowledge of short-term rentals can compete if they're just strictly on Airbnb? Yeah, let me rephrase the question. Do you think someone with no knowledge of Airbnb can hop into the Airbnb space with no knowledge, buy a property, and compete?
Nah, we're gonna destroy them. They could compete. I mean, they could for a little while they can slash their prices and then get all their weekends booked and not their weekdays, and just have lose money for a little while, and then make it a little bit annoying for us because we have to compete with people slashing their prices. But they'll stop because there's no money in it. They don't know what they're doing. You got to get some knowledge first, right? You got to get some knowledge. Go to artistrentals.com and then get all the knowledge you need, man. And or go to Live Let Thrive University and take a course. Come on, man. You got to get some knowledge. Listen to Live Let Thrive. Listen to us and get some knowledge. You can't just jump in. I mean, people do it. That's fine, But yeah, it's just with anything in life, man. You're gonna say, oh, I want to do jiu-jitsu today. I'm gonna go fight Hoist Gracie. No, you're gonna get your face ripped off, right? It's yeah, no, they're not gonna do well, and we're competing with a lot of that, man. There's a lot of people just see a few videos, see a few motivational gurus on IG, and then I'm gonna just do their little free PDF, and I'm gonna start my short-term rental. No, I mean, back in the day, we talk about that. Back in the day, grandma's furniture, make the listing, boom, you're profiting. It's great, Yeah. And then but then competition starts, and then companies start, and then it just makes it harder to make a buck. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's where we were at earlier this year when everybody was trying to get into it and just driving the prices down. We stuck through it. It was a huge summer, and that helped a lot of people out. But like you said, the slow season's coming, and that's gonna shake a lot of people off, right? They're gonna just jump ship, and that's fine. I mean, we're gonna stick with it. Even if we're just breaking even in these months, whatever, we're still going to stick with it, and we're going to reap the rewards later.
Ooh, I'm happy you brought that up.
Salud.
Breaking even, man. So I don't know. I hope I probably did talk about this, but people who didn't listen to that episode, oh well. I talked about our friend Dave Menzel, who wrote the Vacation Rental Bible. He's coming on the show, and he wrote a great excerpt in his book, The Vacation Rental Bible, and he said he'll make, he said he's comfortable in down seasons breaking even, or just making the bare minimum, or just breaking even and making the bare minimum during his down seasons. And during the high seasons, he wants to maximize the money. So I said, man, I was like, it was a great way in but he broke it down to that works for him and the way that he invests, right? It works for his investment philosophy. That right there is powerful. And that's why knowledge of the short-term rental space is important. Because when you're hopping in spaces, and let's say, because what his book is about, vacation rental markets, but if you're in the short-term rental market, like short-term rental metro markets like us, when you have people who buy based upon other factors besides cash flow, such as appreciation, you get that same mentality. And what happens with that mentality is, if they never really cared about cash flow, but they heard about Airbnb and they just want to make a little bit more money, they can dilute a market and undercut the people who are performing well by providing the same value. And what that does is it starts to dilute a market such as Houston, so that's one thing to be very wary about. And that leads me into our guest question. Our guest question comes from our STR brother, Brian Wynn. musecoffee.co or .com?
Question. Let me find it out while you're talking.
If y'all want some coffee, hit up our brother Brian Wynn. But he asked me today, he said, what do you think about buying a beach house? I'm going to give my opinion, then I'll let Steve give his. Me personally, I said, if you're going to buy a beach house right now, I said you run the numbers to the T. And the reason why I say run the numbers to the T, because you need to know what interest rate you're coming in at. If you are coming in at a high interest rate, you need to make sure you can still cash flow. Especially, I would say cash flow on a long-term rental basis, but I don't know if you can. And the other thing I said was, or if you do plan on buying your interest rate down, seeing how much your cash on cash return is going to be, because it can go down significantly if you're going to buy down your interest rate, right? So that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna put down huge chunks of money on one property, I would probably suggest like a vacation rental property, just because the cash flow is gonna suffice. You know, you can cash flow 10 grand on one of those easily during the high season, which will like cover you for the low season. So on beach houses, things like that, just do your numbers heavily. Do your numbers. So I'll let you give your opinion on that.
And I've talked about this since the beginnings of Live Let Thrive, right?
Mm-hmm.
How I've always wanted. We love South Padre Island, right?
Oh,
and we love South Padre. We have a blast there. We have always wanted to buy something there, and even in the time, it's crazy, man. And even in the times when everything was cheaper there, I kind of kicked myself down a little bit, but at the same time, not really, because I would get to the point we'd find one and we'd be like, okay, it's going to cost this much. Plus, you know, the HOAs are really expensive at condos in the beach, right? It's like $400 a month, $300-400 a month. It's expensive. So there goes a lot of your cash flow. And the thing is, it's very seasonal. Beach properties are, depending on where you're at. I don't know, maybe San Diego does good all year round or whatever. But let's say for the most part, where they have seasons, you know, where there's cold season and hot and warm season, whatever, like South Padre, it's seasonal, and you have to factor that in. So every time I ran the numbers, and I would look around what was renting at the time on Airbnb, you know, and it was like, oh man, in the down season, you could rent so cheap over there, dude. I mean, you can get rooms for like $30-40, $50 a night. I mean, cheap, dude, on Airbnb. And I was like, and these places are nicer than the one I was trying to buy. And I'm like, so if I bought something, I'm competing against these guys, right, on Airbnb, and there's $50 a night during the down season for a badass freaking condo with the ocean view and all that. I wasn't gonna be able to afford an ocean view at the time, right? Yeah. And so what would I make a night? $20-30 a night? I won't even pay the damn mortgage with that, let alone with the HOA fee on top of it, you know? And I was like, it just doesn't make sense, you know, as an investment. It doesn't make any sense. And that was when prices were low. And so what I ended up doing was not buying one, and I found a house over here, and I bought the house instead. And a 3-2 house in the suburbs over here kicks the shit out of a beach condo, especially a beach condo that's not ocean view, you know? So, I mean, if you found a good deal on an ocean view condo, that changes the game, because you can charge, you know, $200-300 a night for one of those, because people want to see the ocean, right? If you're going to go inland a little bit and you can't see the damn ocean, you're going to be fighting for the scraps. And that's just what I saw when I did my research. Maybe it's changed. I don't know. I know COVID kind of changed the game a little bit, because a shitload of people were visiting South Padre Island regardless, because they couldn't travel international anymore. They were scared to travel international, right? Now that shit's gone. They're going back to, I'll go to Cancun for, you know, $399 for a 7-night stay, all inclusive. I'm gonna go to fucking Cancun. I'm not gonna go to South Padre Island, you know, and I just gotta pay for the flight, and which is a couple $100. So it's like, now that international travel's back, and for me, you're competing against that now. I mean, when it was, like I said, when the only option was South Padre Island, yeah, you were making money at that point. People were making money hand over fist at that point. That's fine, because that's the only place they could go. But now the world is open again. You can go anywhere you want, and Mexico's fucking dirt cheap. You know that. I mean, you can go to Mexico and get all inclusive in a badass place with the fucking crystal clear blue waters, you know, for $500 for a week. And and well, you can't do that in South Padre, and the water's not crystal clear. And so, anyways, you got me on a rant, but yeah, do your numbers. I did my numbers, and I'm happy that I bought single family houses in here in this area because they're kicking ass for me, right? And yeah, there you go.
I love that analysis, and that was one of the reasons. I think it was your friend that came on the show. This was like probably in the episodes in the 80s or 90s. Your friend came on the show, and he talked about snowbird seasons with vacation rentals, right? And that's what he talked about. He's like, yeah, during the down season, you just take what you can get, because ain't nobody coming there. So yeah, that is one thing to be aware of. I agree. And then now you really got to look, like you said, internationals open back up again. If internationals open, people, they traveling everywhere, So yeah, that is very good. And one thing I do like about the metro markets, and COVID did kind of switch things up a little bit. The things I loved about the metro market was, hey, it's year round. I can cater to nurses this time of the year. I can cater to vacation rentals, leisure people this time of the year. You can change it up. But as to a vacation rental market, yeah, you sometimes, hey, it's the slow season. You're kind of, going for the scraps. And I can't wait to talk to Dave Menzel about that, because that's a very interesting take, because that is what kept me away from vacation rental markets until the pandemic hit and the remote work things started to climb. And I'm like, damn, if you had a vacation rental market right now, you're kicking some ass, because you can just cater to remote travelers. So yeah, I like that take you just made.
And the death knell, right? The final straw with with that kept, I would say, if you had a condo in South Padre or somewhere, seasonal that was doing good because of the pandemic, the final straw was when the U.S. and the government finally lifted the requirement where you had to have a COVID test before you hop on an airplane to come back from Mexico. That was the final thing that was like, man, people were like, man, if I go to Mexico and I catch COVID, I can't miss a week of freaking work to quarantine, and they won't let me back in the country. But once they lifted that, which is a few months ago, they lifted that. We don't have to have a freaking COVID test to come back into the country. That was it, man. Now Mexico's open for business 100%. People going there. I mean, you see the ads on your freaking Facebook, Instagram, $199, 4 or 5 nights, all inclusive, all this stuff. I mean, they're fucking cheap, right? So yeah, why would you go to South Padre when you can hop on the same fucking plane and it'll just a few more hours and you're in Cancun, crystal blue waters, whatever. So yeah.
So one thing I would say then, to piggyback off what you're saying, Steve, is if you're going to buy that beach house, make sure it's a very desirable beach. I would say that then, because how Steve's saying, like South Padre, if it can't compete with Mexico, and South Padre is right by Mexico.
It's right by Mexico, yeah.
Right by Mexico, if he can't compete, see what your surrounding beaches are. See if you can compete with them and, provide them a good product.
Now, I will say, let's say something like Georgia, right? Mm-hmm. Was it Gulf Shores or Destin or whatever, places that are drivable to get to, South Padre, even from freaking Houston, it's a long ass drive to South Padre, right?
That is.
So if you're in they call it the Redneck Riviera, right? Destin, Georgia, whatever, all around the Florida Gulf Coast, anything drivable to get to, maybe you'd be way better off than a place like South Padre.
I would even, to piggyback on that, I would even say check out Myrtle Beach.
Oh man, I've always heard it's beautiful. I've never been.
Myrtle Beach is, I've never been, but I've rent places out there, and man, Myrtle Beach, it's a hit. If you get because it's exactly what you said, it's drivable. You can just drive down to it. People from Atlanta driving up there, people from the Carolinas driving down, it's very drivable. Mm-hmm. I like that. Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. If anything, COVID brought back the road trip. It brought that back, mm-hmm. Especially with the airline industry is going through right now.
That's another thing. I was making a killing off that. During COVID, if you were 20, 30 miles outside of a city, shit, man, you were making a killing.
Yeah. Because I mean, you might go to the airport today and be there for 24 hours trying to get on a flight. It's just ridiculous. Right. Whereas you could have just driven, 5, 6, 7 hours somewhere and been there and no big deal, right? So anyway, kids getting rowdy out there. A lot of what else were we talking about? Oh, so we talked about that. One thing that one thing we're going back to, you're talking about seasonal places, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that guy you brought up, he wants to max. He don't care about breaking even the rest of the year as long as he maximizes the high season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one cool thing that our buddy Jay Massey said, right, from Cashflow Diary. What's up, Jay? He's the last man standing. The last man standing tactic, and I thought it was fucking cool. I thought it was genius because what he said. Okay, it's high season right now. Everybody's gonna book anyways. If you're in a desirable location where people travel to, they're gonna book anyways. Why do you want to get booked early? He goes, raise your prices where you don't get booked early, keep them high, and you'll be okay. Everybody else will get booked because they're cheaper than you, but they're still going to book you, and they're going to book you at a higher price because you're going to be the last man standing.
Facts.
So that was a eye opening thing because that was a great way to change the perspective. Because I was thinking, everybody freaks out. They want to get their calendars filled, early. Oh, I want 1 month, 2 months out. I want them full. They start freaking out if it's 1 month away and they're not full. Oh shit, what's going on? But no. If you have the wherewithal to just hang in there, you're going to get booked. That area is going to be traveled to, and you're the last option for somebody. They got to pay $300 a night. They're going to pay you $300 a night.
I'm going to also give you this word of advice because what you brought up is so great. If you're booked 2 months out, your pricing is probably jacked up anyway. When people like on these Airbnb groups, people show me like their whole calendar's filled. I'm like, yeah, you ain't making no money. I'm not looking at them like, you ain't making no money. Like somebody checks in for one night here and then we got 3 days, then another 3 days. I'm like, oh yeah, this shit's cheap. That's what that is. Like I'm for real. Like, and then when people say, man, I'm booked all the way out till November. I'm like, off one long-term booking? No, someone booked November. I'm like, yeah, your pricing's jacked. If somebody books my November, they probably booked for 3 or 4 months of my all my expenses. That's how high it is to book all the way out there. And you have to stay a certain amount of time. So yeah, look into your calendar settings when you guys are doing that. Like people shouldn't be booking you for Christmas right now. That's not a good thing. That means you're the they probably sniped your ass, as Steve said.
Sniping them weekends, sniping them holidays.
Yeah, if your holidays are already getting booked, you're getting sniped out. You should, like you said, you should be the last man standing.
Man, yeah. It is funny that you brought up the sniping because that was way back in the day we talked about the sniping, right? Yeah. Back before I even had a company, when I was doing it out of the houses. And I don't know if Airbnb's changed it, but we told people to watch out for that because they make it so easy to create your Airbnb page, right?
Oh yeah.
And they walk you through it, and boom, there you go, you're up and running. And you're like, holy crap! Where did it say the night minimums? It kind of glosses over the night minimums. It kind of glosses over a bunch of things that instant booking, and you're like, if you just go through the step by step what they did. No. You got to go in there and research, and you got to go find those spots, the 2 night minimums, 3 night minimums, whatever, and stuff like that. Otherwise, because I remember I told you I posted one, dude, and right away, freaking Christmas got booked one fucking day, and I was like, what happened, dude? And I had, I was able to cancel that booking, but I was like, Airbnb didn't show you. I don't know if they still do that. Do they still do that? Because our VAs make our listings now, but I don't know if I haven't made a booking listing in a long time, but I was like, I remember that they just kind of boom, 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 10 steps. You got your Airbnb up and running. And, but you gotta, if you're going to make your Airbnb listing right now or via, I know for sure Airbnb, be sure to go in there and put those holidays at 2 or 3 or 4 night minimums, right now, if they're far away, which is right now, they are kind of far away, because they will get sniped by somebody
up the rate by 50%.
Exactly. Up the rate and then put a 3, 4, 5 night, whatever the minimum is. And as that date approaches, if you're not booked, of course, you go lower than in a less night minimum. Unless you're doing the last man standing tactic, which is, it's a science to this. It's also an art, right?
Yeah. That's why you got to use price labs, because it'll do it for you automatically. If you set your price labs up right, it'll do it for you automatically. And man, that's why I've been loving like having a good PMS like Hostfully, because that's what I do now. I set up my unit through Hostfully and I just have them ship it over to Airbnb. So everything's made, because Airbnb does do that. They do. They basically need to get booked. So hey, they're gonna, hey, yeah, turn on instant book on and don't check who's checking in. By the way, here's a 20% discount. Well, whoa, hold up now. Oh man, you get the worst guest starting off. So yeah, it does do that. So
I remember that. I remember those days when oh man, they pushed that instant book on you so hard, man. Full court press, dude.
yeah.
It's like if you say no, they're like, "You sure you don't want it?" And then no, I don't fucking want instant book. Okay, well, people that have instant book have a 50% more chance. No, I don't fucking want instant book. Okay, one more last chance. Are you sure? Oh, come on, man.
They were turning that, man. And it got, I think that's kind of where Airbnb kind of like the partiers were starting to come in because people were just turning that thing on and not, and remember Airbnb changed it up. You can now check and say, hey, do you want this person to have reviews? Do you want this person to upload their ID? At first, man, it was just shit, turn on instant book. Any Tom, Dick, or Jane can book, man. It was crazy at first, but yeah, you're right. They were pushing that hard.
Tom, Dick, or Jane. Yes, sir. Man, we've been going out this week. We haven't done a me and you up in a while, right?
Yeah.
So
the OG pod, man.
We talked about time scheduling, blocking, burnout. That's the thing. You can get burned out by being at home working all day, right? You can get pretty burned out doing that shit. How do you you do your walks, you get out of the side of the house, you do things like that.
One other thing I wanted to touch on that is a routine, man. Like I get up every morning and I'll go work out. No, that workout for you every morning. That does it. That does, that gets you going. Come home, shower, do a warm shower and do a cold shower. Do a cold one. That gets your blood going, man. Those cold showers, man. Our past guest, Adam Johnson, he's been real big on it. I've been watching some of his shit. I was like, it takes the art to build up to that shit. But yeah, me and Mahogany been doing it too. So yeah, it's a cool thing.
Oh man, Adam Johnson put something cool the other. He's just such a cool dude, man. Adam Johnson, and we got to get him back on the show again. That's another guest we got to get back on, John. And he said, anytime, man, just let me know. And so he's out there in Tennessee, right? Mm-hmm. And so he's a subject to guy, he gets houses under subject to, so he gets houses for fucking free. And then he puts them on Airbnb. It's a lot more work to that. It's not that simple, but he gets it done. And he's out there. He has a badass riding lawnmower, so he's out there in the evening cutting grasses. He just loves cutting yards. And he said, and he put on there like, hey, $47, I'm cutting yards today, anybody need a yard cut? And he just goes out there and cuts yards. He cuts all his properties yards, of course. Yeah. But then he goes and makes a few bucks cutting yards. And I'm like, dude, I would totally hire you just to say I got a millionaire cutting my yard. Because he's a fucking millionaire, but he likes to get on the riding lawnmower, get out there with his music, and just fucking start chopping yards, man. He just likes to do that shit.
Yeah, and that's something else, man. If you find something you like to do that gives you peace and you could get paid for it, do it.
Yeah,
something like that. Go cut some grass.
I was like, yeah, I got a millionaire cutting my yard. I got a white dude cutting my yard. That's even something too. But but yeah, it's just something. He says, I said, why do you do that, man? I mean, wouldn't your time be worth more, somewhere else, going and finding deals and houses? And it just, to him, he just loves it. It's a stress relief. He gets out and gets some sun. He just gets out there and he loves to do it. Makes a few bucks, but I was like, he can make a lot more money doing something else, I'm sure. But he just loves to get out there and do it, and it helps him. It's helped him pick up properties in the past. Overgrown houses. Hey, you need a yard cut. Gets the conversation going. Hey, I'll buy this house from you. If you're trying to sell it, it actually works in his favor.
Because he's coming from a place of service, man.
There you go.
Service, you can win every time, man. The service.
Man, you got any other topics you want to talk about? We talked about a lot of stuff today, I think.
Yeah, we did, man. It has been a really, really good episode. Long day today. Got to go do some cold call. Might be too late. But yeah, it's been a really good episode. Good week.
Dude, real quick. Bigger Pockets effect. I got to talk about this because I forgot about it. Okay. Mike Dinman, I talked to him earlier today, right? We did a Zoom call, and he talked about, and he went through he got the Texas. He has like a Texas beach property, and he got that through the Carl Avery School, whatever he went through, and he went through their program. Avery Carl, right?
Yeah, Crystal Beach, I believe.
Yeah, Crystal Beach. He got a Crystal Beach there,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a Joshua Tree place. And anyways, he talked about he's like, man, because he's talking about all the all the ad, how to do the ads and all that stuff, and he said places that got really 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 saturated was all the places that Avery Carl talked about on her book, that her Bigger Pockets book, man. It's like all those spots, man, got way oversaturated because all the Bigger Pockets went there and invested there. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, Avery Carl, guest on the show, great girl.
Houston got saturated too, man. Everyone was talking about it. For real, man. You makes you. Never mind. I was gonna say it makes you think, man. Maybe we got to shut the hell up about where you're investing.
No, let's not shut that.
Nah, yeah. But you have to have an abundance mindset, and you just have to learn how to stand out. That's what it is. But yeah, those places are saturated. So he's like how he's doing. He's standing out. He's running Facebook ads. So.
No, dude, yeah. We can go on a whole deal about Mike, man. He's a cool dude, and he's the only one. And here's the thing, I'll bring this up shortly because we brought it up on the show with him. So okay, big corporations, giant corporations that fucking run the whole world, that are everywhere in the world, right? From here to maybe not Russia, but here to to China, to South America, to Brazil. They're like Coca-Cola, for example. They're on every shelf everywhere, right? Coca-Cola. So I remember a professor telling me back in business class a long time ago when I was in college, that they spend 50% of their budget on advertising, right? Us operators out here, probably we spend about 0% on advertising. All us smaller operators. What does that tell you? How the fuck are we going to get that big with doing 0% advertising, And so a big corporation like Coca-Cola recognizes the power of advertising. And so they spend half their freaking budget on advertising. Whereas us out here that are just trying to, figure it out ourselves and make some Instagram stuff, make some Facebook stuff, make some reels and TikToks. Okay. Some of that works. Yeah, that's good. But we're spending 0% on advertising. And so anybody he goes, and I talked to Mike about that. He's like, dude, if you spend 10%, just 10% of your budget on advertising, you'll be leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else in your industry. Right. So I don't know. That was a powerful thing. So I don't know if we're gonna end on that, but yeah, I thought I'd share that.
Powerful. You have to spend. Well, what that tells you is most people just depend upon Airbnb. That's the answer to it. You get out of that mindset to where you're advertising and running ads and building your business. If you ain't got an advertising budget, then don't have a business. You know what I mean? If you ain't advertising, you ain't got a business, right? How the hell? How do you get the word out about your business? Yeah. But it's interesting take. But I love that.
And he even said that if you hit all the markers to try to look for a place, he goes, his place, his Crystal Beach. He did all this research. His Crystal Beach place wasn't showing up at all on Airbnb. It was, even though it's beachfront, beach view, he had all those markers that you're supposed to hit, right, to show up. He said he still wouldn't show up on their algorithm until he started doing the advertising to drive the traffic to people clicking on his place. Then Airbnb, oh, okay, a shit ton of people are clicking on this place. They'll put them on the front page. I don't know. It's a science. I call them the ad scientists. The Facebook ad scientists.
That's how I did my Arkansas property for about 3 years. For about a whole year, I did that. But that was when the first guy came on, EJP. EJP kind of showed me how he was doing it. But Mike took it to the next level. He was like, that $1 a day crap don't work no more. I was like, damn, I was making a killing with that like 2-3 years ago. I just run $1 a day to targeted areas. Man, but I kept it going. I just never turned it off. Man, it was killing it. But yeah, now it's definitely changed.
Yeah. Cool, man. This has been a great episode. It's good to catch up with you again, just to me and you up. And we had fun. Julie George came to town. We had a blast with Julie George, and we had a blast at Sean Raksijic's, I can't see
Sean's place.
Sean's place, the Airbnb automated guy. We went to his badass penthouse with the fucking perfect view of Dallas. I mean, it was up on the 30th floor. And the airplanes flying by and shit. It was amazing, dude. And it's very inspiring. It's like, dude, we could be there if we really, really tried hard. And if we tried smart, not just hard. Don't just hustle, because you could be hustling and get nothing done in a day, right? And work 14 hours and get nothing done. Whereas you can do one thing in like 10 minutes, the right thing, and you can have your day, pay you a nice chunk of money. I don't know what I'm saying. I probably had too much to drink. But anyways, we had fun at Sean's. We had a great place. Live Let Thrive was represented, and Julie George came to town. She's gonna come back on the podcast. She's awesome. From the $1 million host, and rubbing elbows with millionaires is probably a pretty good thing for us. I don't know. Maybe it'll pay off.
It definitely will, man. And I'm happy we had that because, Julie, I started her book today, so that's a good thing. I can't wait to dive in. But thank y'all for continuing to listen to us. Hit us up on Instagram, follow our link tree, hit the link tree below. Leave us a review on iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a review. Subscribe on YouTube. Write a review anywhere you go that has Live, Let, Thrive on it. Leave us a review. Hit the subscribe button and follow the link tree. That's where my Instagram is, Steve's Instagram. Argis Rentals. Find out everything about Steve and his business. Oh, by the way, man, because I've been getting so many damn clarity calls about the timeshare thing. I went ahead and opened up the course again, and I updated it. So you just use the discount code LLT, get 50% off. And you guys can keep hitting my clarity consulting, spend the money with me. But the timeshare course, I'm giving away $500. Just use discount code LLT on that. And watch out for LLT University. It is coming, and we will be having another meetup, I believe, in September? No, November. And be on the lookout for that. Anything else, Stevie Stacks?
Go out there and make your dreams come true, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. We had some good stuff today. It's good, like I said, connecting again. And Live, Let, Thrive. Thank you for being with us this long. And here's to another 100 episodes. And hop on our show. You got a good story. Hop on our show, man. Go to our Calendly and just hop on our show and tell us how you're doing. Big, small, middle, whatever. We want to hear it all. And people can learn from you. We can learn from you. And that's what's got us to the point we're at, is you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah.
By the way, that Calendly link is on that link tree. So hit that Calendly link and sign up to be a guest. And
argisrentals.com. Go to argisrentals.com. We got you, man. If you want to need a place there, you want us to manage your places and kick some ass, good thing. I'm not going to be drinking rum and managing your place. Federico will. He'll be drinking rum and managing your place. So anyways, we'll have a good time. Artisrentals.com, Airbnb.com. Check them out too. They're kicking ass too. So we got to pimp our own places, man. Come on now.
Facts. Let's go.
Peace out. Love you all.
Out.
Later. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.